gathering point for soldiers of the 47th Magura Brigade, who were wounded during the fighting in the Robotyne area. Russian Colonel General and hero of Russia Gennady Zhidko blamed for the collapse of the front line in Kharkiv last year, and fired by Putin suddenly died from an illness in Moscow at 57 years old. 7th Russian general to die in the 18-months-long invasion so far. We still don't know. Did he drink tea with strange taste, or did he fell out of window? Looks like first Switchblade 600 kill. The photo shows the destroyed 9K-35 Strela 10 air defense system, designed to control airspace and detect air targets at low altitudes. Ironically, which by the way is becoming a systematic phenomenon, the Strela died from what it was intended to fight against, namely from the American kamikaze drone Switchblade 600. The Ukrainian Secret Service detained a Russian agent who was preparing a new missile attack on Kiev. On the instructions of the aggressor, he established geolocations of units of the defense forces on the territory of the capital region. He was interested in the repair bases of the armed forces, where maintenance and restoration of Ukrainian equipment is carried out. He tried to identify places of combat duty of the Ukrainian air defense forces near the energy facilities. Also, the suspect leaked information about power substations in Kiev to the Russians. Interesting. A bit long post here from Russian Colonel Shuvalov discussing the effect of the Ukrainian cluster munitions and how the Russian equivalents are not nearly as good, if exist at all, showing how Shoigu's threats are empty. And again about cluster munitions. It's hard for me to understand why we need to manipulate statistics if the response we're getting for showing off results in colossal, real difficulties. Basically, nothing has changed, but a lot needs to be added. Information, now in full measure, reached the authorities that everything was not as it seemed in the initial reports. It is impossible not to take into account the factor of modern Western cluster munitions. They shamelessly mow down both fighters at the front, not only at the front, and civilian infrastructure in the rear. Civil infrastructure is a separate topic. Recently, there was an arrival in Tokmak, which terribly slashed trucks and drivers. The Defense Ministry decided not to focus on this, because there was a risk of reciprocal publication of data from the enemy, with arguments that the civilian targets were not quite simple and not very civilian. But there were comrades in the camp of military correspondents who unleashed their anger towards the vile NATO members on the heads of readers and attached videos as proof. This is something the enemy might not have had. And now the enemy can quite boldly show that the goals were legal from a military point of view. And all by our hands. We had to throw all our efforts into blocking the supply of cluster munitions to Ukraine, to declare that we would not use such munitions, to tear apart the Europeans who have cluster munitions banned. There was a chance. But they played us. We happily fell for it and declared that we had these clusters munitions, whole landfills of them, not just stockpiles. Yes, we have many. You can search for photos. For the most part, it's an illiquid asset killed by time. The rest is morally and technically obsolete, and things are not very good with carriers either. Now you can't roll back the situation, and when you are caught being weak, it's silly to try and scare them. The General Staff already understands this, but they cannot bring the situation even higher. There is no solution. The guys on the front line are taking the beating, and it's not easy at all. In the context of problems with medicine, wounds from cluster munitions often result in death, and this is a very painful and terrible death. The enemy has learned, yes, imagine they are also learning, to cut off the path of reinforcements or withdrawal of forces with artillery, and trenches do not save from cluster munitions. You can't save yourself with a bandage or a tourniquet. After being hit with cluster munitions, you need solid medical care if you manage to survive. In the trenches, a terrible mess is formed from the living and the dying, who are sometimes completely impossible to help. In such cases, the enemy methodically waits for those of our forces that rush to help their comrades. I saw all this in Chechnya, when a sniper left a wounded man to pull other guys to him. This happened in single occasions, but with cluster munitions, everything is the same, but scaled tens and hundreds of times. We need counter-battery fire, but it is not there. We need a lot of things, but first of all, need to finally admit the problem exists and start solving it, and not throw around the words like We're gonna smash you. It is not some colonel in a hospital bed that is yelling about the cluster munitions. The voices of hundreds of guys dying in terrible agony in the trenches, and the widows of hundreds killed by them in just these couple of weeks are shouting to you about these problems. And I specifically do not specify whether there are really hundreds or already thousands. We will not please the enemy with statistics. The army needs a solution. The cluster situation is terrible, and worst of all, we try to silence the problem when we need a solution. And this is already beyond the capabilities of individual generals and commanders. We made threats with words. Now let's get down to business. Putin called an emergency meeting over the ruble. The extreme measure did not work. The media learned of new plans. Model of Russian advanced weapons and an analog of American HIMARS turned out to be a copy of Brezhnev-era self-propelled howitzers. The Russian Ministry of Defense at the Army 2023 Forum signed a contract for the supply of new two S-43 Malva-wheeled howitzers to the troops. This, according to the Moscow Times, is part of an extensive package of weapons, the acquisition of which was announced by the Shoigu department. Malva is essentially a copy of self-propelled howitzers developed in the USSR in the 1970s during the reign of Secretary General Leonid Brezhnev. For this analog weapon with a range of 24 to 28 kilometers, they took a 152mm 2A-64 howitzer from the Soviet Masta, tracked self-propelled guns, and transferred it to the wheeled Baz 6610. In terms of range, Malva loses at least a third not only to Western models, but even to Serbian ones. A similar American M109 Paladin shoots at 30 to 45 kilometers, the Swedish Archer at 30 to 40 kilometers, the French 155mm self-propelled guns. Caesar throws a projectile at 40 kilometers. The Serbian self-propelled guns Nora B-52 has a range of under 40 kilometers. HIMARS impact range in different variations from 45 to 300 kilometers. Russian President Vladimir Putin called an emergency meeting with representatives of the economic bloc. They should present him with a plan to save the ruble, which has fallen to a historic mark of 101 rubles per dollar. According to the Financial Times, an extraordinary 3.5 percentage point increase in the discount rate failed to stop the ruble from falling, two people familiar with the matter said. According to the sources, Putin planned to listen to the proposals of the Ministry of Finance of Russia to require exporters to convert part of their foreign exchange earnings, most of which are now abroad, into rubles. But someone tell him that no one will fall for these horror stories a second time. Burning metallurgical plant Red October in Volgograd, Russia.
Прям валит черный дым, и там видно, как что-то горит. Пламя невероятное. А вот еще одна вторая пожарная машина. Первая уже проехала.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.